Yo, yo, peace and love. This is Real Bar Talk, the Horsemen. I'm what they call nonchalant.
Yep, Magna Carta on the check-in.
We have two quarters, two quarter waters. Now I'm just playing. They haven't, they haven't tapped in yet. But
Yeah, one half.
yeah, one half. That's even better. That's even
Yeah.
better. But bro, JC and brother and bro, Exact should be here shortly. But we're gonna hold it down. We're gonna hold it
Yes,
down.
sir.
We just sitting here with our Debo talk, Not Friday,
Yeah.
but Debo as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tuck your chains. Tuck your chains.
Tuck your chains, right?
Cause he coming. He
He
coming.
coming.
That's right.
Whistle. You better whistle.
Yeah. For those who don't know, now I'm a 49ers fan, and we're just talking about how my guy Debo just signed his a 3-year extension, 58 million and some change guaranteed, second highest guaranteed money out of the contracts that was signed through for the wide receivers. And I did kind of see it was coming too because also uh, DK Metcalf for Seattle Seahawks, he just signed a deal, and him and Debo got the same agent. So the agent was trying to get his cake up too. So yeah, he got Metcalf his deal. Then a few days later, he got Debo his deal. But
Yeah, I will go ahead, go ahead.
if you are not a 49ers fan, I don't know where you hearing it from anywhere. I promise you, Debo was not gonna be anywhere but San Fran. We were not trading him. We already knew that. All 49ers fans knew it. He was either gonna sit or he was gonna wait till we could get this contract negotiated. But we were not trading Debo Samuels.
we got brother JC on the check-in.
Black and crispy as ever.
However,
What up? What up?
it was good. We sitting there, we just extending the conversation of
Yeah.
49ers and that Debo.
Yeah, we just talking about my boy Debo.
Can I get it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, chime in.
Nah. I want to hear what you said so I can retort.
Nah, I was just saying for people who outside of San Francisco, just to know, Debo was gonna be a 49er regardless.
Oh.
We wasn't trading him. So it was either going to be an option of him sitting for a year or just waiting until we got that contract negotiated properly. Uh, that's pretty much it. That's all I really got to. And, I broke down the deal. He getting 58 million and some change, uh, guaranteed, which is second highest amongst the contracts that was signed on wide receivers part. And the drama is over. He back. He back. Checking in. Tuck your chains.
You
was worried?
mentioned Metcalf.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks. Him and Debo have the same agent. So I had a feeling once Metcalf signed his deal, agent was trying to get ready to get Debo to get his money too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Philadelphia Eagles could have drafted Metcalf, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, but they chose not to. That was a dummy move.
A lot of people skipped on Metcalf though. It wasn't just the Eagles. So I
Okay.
can't give Eagles fault for that. A lot of people passed on Metcalf.
I
Yeah,
can't
this
even.
was
I
all
don't even know who
property.
they picked. I don't off top. I don't know who they picked because of him. But
That would be a Sega Whiteside.
how's he doing?
I'm not even sure if he's still on your team.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
most recently, nonchalant was the Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. That's the
Oh
most
yeah.
egregious one.
And is Rager the one who got Butterfingers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I like the Philadelphia Eagles offseason moves. We're gonna see.
Yeah, they did. I think the Eagles did good this offseason.
I think so as well.
I was impressed.
We're gonna see what it do though when it comes to Sunday in September, October, November, December. We're gonna see.
But I would advise you to err on the side of caution because I believe I had to look it up, but I saw something where they said the Eagles on paper, they probably got like the second best roster in the league. I was like, oh man.
Put it this way. I always side on I'm always on the side of caution when it comes. I don't care who's on these squad. You know what I mean? I'm always on the side of caution because history has shown that during and we going back a little bit, so bear with me.
Okay.
Back in like the Andy Reid era, every year, for the most part, 90% of the time they were picked to be one of the last, if not two standing, meaning the Super Bowl, they was like at least the last four. They was always and we seen how that worked out.
You know what, man? As a fan, though, I'm not even gonna lie. That's what I would hope my team would do. I mean, I would love to get a chip in there, but all I ask for as a fan and as an organization, because it's hard to get there, yo. And for the Eagles that did it that many times, that had to be a good time to be an Eagles fan and a bad time because y'all came up short.
It was definitely bittersweet. Because out of all those times that they were picked to go to the Super Bowl, they only went to one and they lost. You know what I mean? All the other ones, they were, and maybe it was, I don't know how many times, because they keep talking about, well, they went to the NFC Championship 3 times. I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? Because you were favored to win, and you didn't get the job done. So I'm just saying, man, being a fan, I understand from the outside looking in how that looks. We might sound, but the other thing as well, the Philadelphia Eagles organization until 2017 or 16, whatever year it was their first champion, was their first Super Bowl. I'm not talking about the 60s before it was even named the Super Bowl. I wasn't even born. I wasn't even a twinkle in my father's eye. You know what I'm saying? So when they be like, well, they won the championship in 1960. Okay, yeah. But let's forward that a little bit. You know what I mean? Because number one, that'd be different. This is a sports town. Philly's a sports town. You know what I'm saying? Right. No diss to like, the expansion teams like the Carolina Panthers. I'm just throwing names out there, teams out there. No disrespect to them, but I don't believe that they have the same passion that the Philadelphia. I would beg to differ that they have the same passion or have the same, love for sports like Philly does. And so, for somebody to be like they for a long time, they've always like they'll show us, they'll be like, yo, it's a lot of, this is where y'all gonna be, the promised land. They open the door and be like, look at all this promised land right here. And then as soon as we get a little traction, they close that motherfucker shut. God, get out of here. I ain't getting that. So, I understand what you're saying as far as like, okay, they did go to 3 consecutive NFC championships and they did have playoff success for a long time. I do understand that, but Philly fans ain't trying to hear that.
I know. I understand that too. I know. I know Philly fans ain't trying to hear it, but
Because when you've been deprived in pretty much all the sports, when you've been deprived of the three major sports of having a ring, then you know it's a bitter taste in your mouth. Pause.
yeah. I just see it from the other side, like you know how much you have a lot of turnover in roster, injuries, players getting older. Other teams are trying to catch up to what you're doing so they can stop you. So every year is a different challenge. And for them to get there that many times as a fan, and you know how hard it is. I'm just saying as on my side. Not Philly guy. I know Philly, they're a different beast. That's all I ever want. I talk to my friends all the time and I tell them, I say, listen, man, realistically, this ain't Madden. We can't win it every year. But what I want is just to have a chance. Like, get me, if I could get to that NFC championship game or win a playoff game like every year, because it's hard to do it every year. It's hard to do it. Like, get me there, and I'll be happy as a fan because I know at least we in the right direction. I mean, I do want to break through, but damn, 4 times I think it was. If I'm correct, but
and we was favored. That's the thing. It'd be different if you're not favored. Then it's like,
yeah, that's true.
Back to the drawing board, But you at home and you was like, yeah, we got this. No, you don't. And so, I ain't gonna beat that. I ain't gonna beat that dead horse.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. Like y'all had a lot of success as an organization. A lot of cities die for that.
But we ain't have the ultimate success. And I think that's the difference. Like when you look at Pittsburgh, which is in Pennsylvania, they have a history of chips. You know what I mean? When you look at, I mean, of course you could look at when you look at the Giants. I'm just talking football now. They have a history.
Yeah.
Or for shit, Giants or the Yankees. They have a history of getting chips. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're looked upon as something that's familiar with that or challenging that, I'm gonna say that, then this shit is fucked up. It's just fucked up.
Yeah. Especially being in that, that the same area, the same region, and you gotta watch them succeed and you don't get it done. Yeah, I could see that.
Not only do you gotta watch it, you gotta be around these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
And the fans. Yeah.
So it's like that always got thrown at us. Yeah, y'all winning, but y'all ain't win. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah. So
in football, we finally got over the hump, and like in 20. Actually, I was around for. It was a long time ago, before 2008. I was around when the Sixers won back in '83, and I was around when the Phillies won in 1980. So I've seen those two. I've been a part of that, but not the Eagles, not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles. That one, I know a lot of fans that like they cherish that one. They said finally.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of people thought they wasn't going to be living when the Eagles won a chip.
We got brother Exact chiming in, tapping in. What's good, brother?
What's good with y'all? Y'all started early.
Nah, we started at 6.
It said 6:15, brother JC. That's why, my bad. I thought we started at 6. I was charging my phone up.
Nah, that was bro JC, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
Me and Magna Carter was holding it down.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up.
For sure.
We just doing a little football NFL talk right now.
Yeah, we could get to the next topic though. Now that we got all 4 here.
It's stuff already. Damn. from Super League.
You be super on time.
Depends
What's
on how
the what's the next one y'all want to tackle?
what did y'all start off with?
The NFL.
Oh, we could get into the Miami Dolphins joint because I got a
yeah.
few. I'm reading that article and I'm thinking to myself, something don't sound right about that.
What's that? The integrity of the
Yeah.
NFL shit.
Yeah, let me just
They got some damn nerve.
Yeah, because integrity and tampering is two different things.
That's the reason why I'm saying it. So basically, let me just so we're talking about the Dolphins owner being suspended and them losing picks and being fined for
Tanking.
tampering. I guess that's what they saying it was, for tampering and the integrity of the game. So now I'm reading it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so they giving him a suspension and all that other good stuff for that. And I could be wrong, but I remember a situation like this happened before. And I think only thing that happened is that somebody lost the draft pick. I think it was nah, it couldn't have been New England. It was a team. I can't think of it right now.
It might have been New England though.
Yeah, but it was some issue and they just lost the draft pick and that's it. Now, with the type of suspension and fines that they got, makes me believe that here goes a conspiracy theory. Y'all could cue up the X-Files theme song in the back for my conspiracy theory, but this is my conspiracy theory. They did find evidence to prove that the coach Brian Flores was telling the truth, but didn't want to put a stain on the NFL name.
Of course not.
And threw those charges on them for tampering. That's my conspiracy theory. That's what I think. And so now the owner came out and said, well, we were proven not guilty on the charges about throwing games, and they didn't have any proof of that. So that cleared us of that. But they're saying that we were tampering and this is not what we were intending to do. So I feel like they wouldn't have got as big as a fine as they did just for talking and showing painting.
If you want to control somebody, make him feel like he ain't worth shit. That's all you got to do to control some people. So all this stuff is aligned to the Debo Samuel thing about if he doesn't get hurt. It's like we giving you all this money, but why you got to throw that in there? The Colin Murray. So now we know that when they say integrity, they are clearly talking about throwing games, because they would not say integrity and then they're gonna throw in tampering. Like tampering don't get you the penalties that they receive.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
But that's it's all in the language. And this is how they trick motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Because they use these words to fuck with your mind. You know what I mean? Like tampering and so on and so forth. Like, and then they'll say like, well, we wasn't found guilty of anything. Okay, but does that mean you never did what you said you didn't do? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because you're up, because what happens is you're in a system that's not gonna they're gonna fucking protect the shield. You feel what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. I mean, it only matters on who they're faulting. They're always gonna, like I said, we going when everybody else, if other ethnicities get a cold, shit, we getting the motherfucking flu. You know what I'm saying? And so they always gonna throw certain type of languages out to protect themselves. Why? Because you're not gonna ever prosecute yourself. You're never going to do that. Well, I'm talking about them. They're never going to do that. These, like I said, we could take it even back to like another sport, like with the NBA. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Sixer fan, but that now they're like, oh, they gotta go and look at the James Harden thing because it looks kind of funny. Miss me with that bullshit because they've been doing that since the beginning of fucking time. But now you want to pick and choose on when you want to call foul. Get the man, like I said, it's I smell BS. I smell BS. You know what I mean? And so they do this all the time. It's nothing new. Like I said, even Jalen Rose was like, what are we talking about here? They've been doing this. Like okay, if you talk about you pick and choose on who you want to charge with the violation. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Knicks. The Knicks is the newest team they started investigating. I just seen that before we went in. Before I got it. I'll make a comment about the. It's gonna sound crazy, but what is $1.5 million to a billionaire? You know what I'm saying? They talking about. They saying
that's a drop in the bucket.
They said basically he's suspended. You're an owner. I can't watch my team play. I can't be in the arena. That's what you're saying. I mean, like the penalties just seem like they all bullshit. And then, what Maggie Carter said, and brother, all of y'all said, I agree totally because it just sounds like they when it comes to shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Magna Carta, what you were saying is when they did get fined, there was a fine included. I believe it was the Patriots. I'm not sure if that's what specifically you're talking about, but all the teams got a fine. This is just one of the bigger ones, and it went after the owner. So that's kind of suspect too, because I believe that the owner, 9 times out of 10, I believe that the owner was the influencer of, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that pushed the issue. Like, look, we need these draft picks. We need this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? We need you to tank, basically. Don't try to win these games. We'll take care of you until we fire you. So that's my take on it. I just feel like the whole shit is full of shit. This is why building up to the season, I be wavering about if I'm gonna watch this shit. I got so that's my take on the situation.
I mean, how they set it up is they all know all this whatever is going on. You come on, like if they don't, because I know they're not that stupid. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, there's always going to be a fall guy. So they set it up to be like that. I don't know who the dude that took the fall. You said it was the owner, right?
Yeah, they suspended the owner.
Okay, what does that mean? 1.5. All right, just go somewhere for a minute, man. This shit's so much bigger than us, bro. Like I said, it's good talking points and shit, but they be laughing at us and shit. Like these motherfuckers really think that it's affecting me. You know what I mean? That shit is crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, they trying to say that there was nothing found on what Brian Flores was saying, and I don't agree with that.
Hell no.
Brother JC, what were you saying about the situation?
Well, I just wanted to make it clear that when they use the word integrity, it basically validates that Brian Flores was telling the truth. That's what happened. You bringing up Tom Brady, you bringing up whoever. What's the other guy? Sean Payton. Okay, so the Cowboys should be getting hit with tampering charges too.
That's my
in
point.
regards to Sean Payton, who talked about Sean Payton more than the Cowboys?
That's exactly my point. They pick and choose.
The media is connected to the NFL, so the media is gonna start with The Miami Dolphins are hit with tampering charges on Tom Brady and Sean Payton. Meanwhile, Tom Brady was technically retired, if they're talking about for this upcoming season. And Sean Payton is retired. So why would that be your lead instead of saying the allegations that Flores made? So it's protect the shield by all costs. We always getting like, we ain't gonna get vindicated by the slave masters. Put it that way.
The thing about it is, man, like they follow a code, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether we like that shit or not, they follow a code and they stick to the script. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, they do.
that's how I see it.
They said we lose as a whole.
Say what?
We lose. They motto is we lose, we gonna lose as a whole. Our motto is fuck that nigga. That's his problem.
This is true.
We at
Okay.
the approximately 6:30 mark. Real bar talk with the Horsemen. We getting a little late, but we about to toast it up. Hit them like buttons.
Subscribe and share.
Next topic.
A lot of movement. Y'all going MLB or?
Let's save MLB for last. Because I think that's the topic that you and brother Magna Carta gonna have a nice little, y'all have a nice little spread on it.
Yeah. Been following it.
I'm into it, but you know, I'm a Phillies fan, so I don't have too much to contribute. Let's go with the TD Jakes situation. Let's talk about it.
His comments,
Okay.
TDJ comments, yeah.
Yeah, we could go there.
I mean, you know, go ahead.
Yeah. Very touchy subject, you know.
Not really, but you know.
You know, I go back and forth with my lady, so it's like he didn't say nothing wrong. However, you know, we're just trying to I don't even want to use justify because we can't be no justifications. Like females are agreeing with what he says, but then it's always the lack of accountability when they're like, but y'all put us in that situation. I'm like, huh? I always say you put yourself in that situation.
I think the accountability situation that could be thrown around because I think everybody, I ain't gonna say everybody. I'm just saying if the shoe fucking fits, wear it. That's what I'm gonna say. And I don't give a fuck if you're male or female. If the shoe fucking fits, wear it. If you're a male or female, excuse my French, oui, but
Nah, go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like on both sides of the fence, if you're guilty, if you're a guilty party, just take accountability for that. Like if you want to blame somebody, okay, do that too. But I'm just saying, like, if you're a guilty party, just say you are. I don't give a fuck if you're male or female. Because I think for us all, like when we look outside or whatever, a lot of roles have changed for different reasons. And everybody's situation is not the same. And so what they do is, that's why I always say, be careful of the narrative that you contribute or give your energy to, because start your own narrative. That's how I say it. Start your own narrative. All right, that's it's going to be people that agree with TD Jakes. There's going to be people that disagree with TD Jakes, because you know what we all do a lot of times is we have a broad brush that we paint for everybody, and then when people that look like us, because everybody does it, that don't look like us, but then when we do it to ourselves, we like, no. Women are this way, guys are that way. And I'm just saying, if the shoe fits, put that motherfucker on. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like, because this shit could be thrown around a lot. That's all.
I agree. I just feel like this. I've been one of the people. I try to accept the message, but I don't gotta accept the messenger. There's no knock against TD Jakes. I'm just not like I put in the track. I'm not a mega church follower. I'm like, to me, this is my opinion. I just feel like the word can go out to whoever it is. I mean, it's just like a lot of Southern pastors, they got these like arena type arena like churches, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, holding thousands and thousands of people, if your true meaning is to get the word, then why is motherfuckers paying to sit in the front row? You know what I mean? So again, I'm not killing the messenger. It's just like the message to me was clear. It's like anytime a person comes up with solutions, when me and brother Nonchalant, when we do the rare pod, when we talk, we always talk about coming up with solutions. If you want to like throw something out there, let's all come together for those who agree. We ain't all gotta like each other, because I threw some harsh comments out about some of the ladies who had spoke on it. I'm not in confrontation with them, but the ones that you can agree with, I think that those are the means for solutions. Those are the people where you can build something and then have a solution. I've repeated it many times. I'm gonna go back to it because it's something that was instilled in me that my father said. He said, we, male and female, were slaves together. We both went through torment and torture together and came out of it together. Now we free. Everybody wanna go do their own thing until the shit hits the fan. And then it's, oh, no brothers don't stick up for black queens. And then you got King just running over and like, yo, where the brothers at? Where the sisters at? Find your A life. Be a life, and then you see a life. I just feel like,
and then you fucking be alike.
be a life, exactly. It's like you can't try to get mad at people for giving information. People was mad about Kevin Samuels because he was telling the truth. It's like truth seekers get crucified. And that's not what the truth tellers get crucified, not seekers. But that's the way this shit is. It's like it's so touchy, man. It's like, I get it. A lot of women have been treated bad. A lot of women, but there's a lot of piggyback motherfuckers, male and female, on that side of shit.
Yeah.
You got women that sitting there ain't never been through a motherfucking thing in their life and crying the blues. All these men don't do this and these. Then you got brothers that sitting around there, man. And I'm gonna throw myself in there. We deal with a lot of hood boogers, and we trying to make them good, or call them good women. We see good qualities, but you gotta call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily people that you can build with. You can have a good time with, you can party, you can sleep, you can wake up, do some bunch of nasty stuff with, but you may not be able to build. No, 9 times out of 10, not 9 times. There's something that may be in there that you can't build a family with it, and you don't have a future with it. So that's my thing about it. You got to know what you're dealing with. If it's a fling, let it be a fling. It's not something that you're supposed to be like, oh, this is my future because sex is good, or this motherfucker got money, or this chick can cook and she got some assets. If y'all not compatible, then it's not gonna work. And a lot of us see that a lot of times, but the attraction can be there. Oh, this motherfucker bad than the motherfuckers. She's thick than this, that, and the third. Or he this, that, and the third to them. When it all comes down to, at the end of the day, all of our looks, our physique, our nice bodies, all that, man, that shit gonna go somewhere. And when it is the motherfuckers, what Kendrick said, when the shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? That's my take on it about that TDJ things. I mean, I can't say I feel bad that he had a congregation that he had. I mean, if his church seat 10,000 and only 5,000, that's still a pretty healthy tithe and offering.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Brother JC, what's your take?
Yeah, we talked about accountability, and the females that was commenting, it's like they want to give respect to TD Jakes. I'm like, if it was someone else, they might have been a little more like aggressive towards. And the aggression came in the end, like, yeah, well, we had to do this because our fathers left us. And then the men we picked was the wrong men, and so on and so forth. I saw them do the interview with Ice Cube, and they were just going at him so hard. I'm like, it's like females be wanting us to save the day. And he like, well, how can you help?
Let me comment on one thing. And this could be a statement to agree or disagree. The first motherfucker, a lot of times with a lot of women, I'm not gonna say black women, anything. The first person that upsets or lets a woman down, most of the time is a man. So they're gonna automatically point the finger and make that man be the subject of everything that happened. What did the woman say? She said her father wasn't around. She craved the love of her daddy. She craved the attention of her daddy. So by him not being there, every other man after that had to pay a price. So my point is just like, I mean, like for me, I have my daughter, man, and I'm not never gonna tell anybody I'm the greatest father, man. You know what I'm saying? My daughter reached out, loved me, did all this other stuff, and she did crave for my attention. There was a bunch of stuff that was going on. I never gave it a Heisman. I never did none of that stuff. I just had a family that had women that literally controlled everything. So even though I had a daughter at a young age, my mother was heavily influenced in the raising of my daughter. So the respect that she should have had for me, I'll be honest with you, my immaturity allowed it to fall the responsibility of nurturing her, not paying bills, but nurturing for her from my mother.
I don't think our parents made excuses. And
no,
I think our parents stepped up.
No, they didn't.
So, you know, when a person has to refer back to women didn't have the right to vote, I'm like, how's that black man fault? Like, we ain't had nothing to do with that. Like, you going back to the 1950s and you wasn't even born in the 1950s. So it's basically any way to prove your point to be right. You know, that's the lack of accountability. Like, you're trying to prove the way you are is because of a man. And I'm like, no, like, my mama had me at 15. That's on her. You picked the wrong man. That's just the way it goes. Love my mama to death, but you know.
I sent y'all that video. It was a few weeks ago. It was from it's an older video. It's from about 4 years ago, but it's from a group. What was the fucking name? They had JID and it was 2 other brothers. But one of the dudes at the end of it, they speak fast as shit. But one of them he said he grew up in a situation. And the situation came, he was a project, he was a kid. And he said his problems start when his mama let a project nigga hit. And it wasn't he said it wasn't nothing but negativity ever. If you listen to the verse, he rips the shit, but he's kicking the shit so fast. It's called Earth Gang. It's Earth Gang. It's Earth Gang featuring JID. It's called something about America. Something about America. But to me, the reason why I love the verse, man, is because he speaks that, man. How many of us, and now when I say us, I don't want to exclude nobody, but how many of us may have had situations where your father and you didn't bond, or they wasn't in the house? You know what I'm saying? We can make, back in the day, it was easy to put an excuse in there, but I had a step pop, so that shit got cut real short. Like, I can only say, oh, my daddy, and then I had a man that was there that stepped up. So, like I said, man, excuses like assholes, we all got them. So it's a matter of how you heal. Do you want to get better? Like that, the end all be all is do anybody who's having relationship issues, marital issues, anything. Do you want your situation to get better, or do you just want to talk about it?
That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point. Do you want to dwell in the slush, or you want to rise above that? You know what I'm saying?
Magna Carta.
Yes, sir.
What's your take, brother?
Well, I don't really have a take on it, to be honest with you. I mean, uh, based off of the comments that he made, and regardless, well, let me just give my opinion on when public figures make statements. Period. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of people who agree, and there's gonna be a lot of people who disagree. Um, it just depends on what group, because that's how it is now. You can offend a certain group, and then that group is just gonna go at you. That's all it is. So it could be some truth in what he said, and it could have been some untruths in what he said. It wouldn't have mattered. Once you're a public figure and you make a statement that offends a group, it's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. It's just I feel like sometimes you can't really give your opinion on things, and I don't think that should be the way.
Not
Like,
in
you
this
give your
PC
opinion.
society.
Yeah, it's a PC society. You give your opinion, people agree with it or disagree with it, and y'all talk about it, and then it should be over. Not you just everybody's trying to prove that they right. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Nobody's
Nobody.
wrong.
Right. Nobody. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nobody is ever wrong. And in whatever, if you're the group that is being offended, you have the right to say anything, even if it doesn't make sense, to defend your point of view.
Yep.
It's just a crazy world we live in right now.
And that's why I
That's
said.
it.
That's why I
Well-
said. When it's a narrative thrown out there, does the narrative fit you?
Right.
If it does, you have the right to speak upon it. But if it don't, then shut the fuck up.
And
You know
let
what
it
I'm
go.
saying? It's really that simple. If the narrative, you know what I'm saying? Because you can actually control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? You can control the narrative based on if a narrative, I'm not talking about like a broad narrative that you know what I'm saying, this has deals with everybody. No, I'm saying when somebody has a narrative, does that narrative fit you and your situation? And I think I'm piggybacking what you're saying, and we pretty much all said it tonight, Magna Carta, is that people want to have something to say when there's nothing really for you to say.
Right.
If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, people like to talk just to talk. Like, what are your talking points if that's not your situation? What are your talking points if that's not your situation? Like, you just said it up because it sounds good when your friend or whatever said it. And yeah, I understand what she talk about. I understand what, you know what I mean? How the fuck can you understand it if that's not your narrative? That's not even your way of life.
Right.
That shit is fake to me. Like, you bigging something up that ain't got nothing to do with you. And instead of you saying, you know what? I'm sorry you had to go through that. I don't know nothing what the fuck you talking about. That, you know what I'm saying? That's a leader's quality. When you can stand alone on your word and your narrative and your experience. When you start piggybacking stuff that don't have nothing to do with you, then you can always smell bullshit. Always smell, and that's, like you said, Magna Carta, this is really the world that we are in now, to where everybody's a strong word. I'm gonna just say a lot of people, I'm gonna say it like that. They want to have, either they don't have nothing to say, or they're just trying to find something to believe in. And so they'll believe in bullshit, because just because you believe in something does not make that shit the truth.
Far from it.
That's true.
You could believe in a lie,
All your life.
And it's all your life. And there's a lot of people walking around because they want to be attached to something. Oh, that's popular. So let me attach myself to that bullshit. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I'm just saying, like, just because you believe in something does not make it the truth.
Facts.
But
Mic
I
drop.
digress.
Drop the mic. Real bar talk. The Horsemen back together again. Reconfigured like Voltron.
Yes, sir. Yep. Next topic. I want to get into it. Let's go. Let's do it. Joey Badass. I know. I hope all of y'all listen to it.
No, I did.
I listened to it.
Yes. Yes.
I listened to it 3 times.
I'm gonna start it off, being that I brought it up.
All right, but before you start it off, I just wanna make a comment. I think this is what I think. I could be wrong. I think this might be the first one we all agree on.
Okay.
But go ahead, nonchalant.
No, I'm gonna just say it. that was
This the first album review we gonna all agree on.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I'm gonna just say I think it was a decent album. Let's say it like that. My thing is like I've said before. I'm gonna let y'all have the floor. But like we've discussed before. Sometimes, a lot of times actually, when you have more than 10 joints, sometimes you could save them other 5. You know what I mean? If it's more than, whatever the amount is over 10. Like if you got 10 joints that's fly, you don't need to add 2 more or 5 more just to fill something up. And I think that's what happens with a lot of artists. They feel as though, I gotta have 15 or 14. Nah, I mean, I kind of disagree with that. If the 14 or whatever the number is that's more than 10, if that might bring the level of your project down, you might want to leave those that are over 10 songs. Might want to leave those out. But I think it was a solid album. I think it was a vibe that he was on, because if you listen to the beats and all of that, it was on one vibe. It was on some old Ride 2 vibe. You know, it was very mellow. Very mellow. It was like, and that's why I said in the chat, it's something you could ride to, because to me, that's what it sounded like when I heard I don't know who did the production, but the production was, I love the production. You know what I'm saying? It was a Static Selector, I think.
Much respect.
I kept hearing that. But I just think it was on a vibe. It was on pretty much the same vibe through the whole joint, but it was just real mellow, laid back. You know, do what you do, sit back, ride. You know what I mean? Chill out, or what have you. I think it was on, because I heard. I don't know if this was his project in a minute, but I always like Joey Badass, and but I haven't heard from him in a long time. But I enjoyed the project, and I'm gonna leave it there.
All right, so 1 out of 10, what you give it?
I knew.
I gotta know a number.
Well, what about 5? What happened to 5 mics?
I think 1 out of 10 is easier.
Yeah.
I give it a 7. I give it a 7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's solid. That's a solid number.
I'm going. My rating scale is 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
That's like a 7.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very relaxing album. I enjoyed the album.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can almost call it a throwback in the sense that, you know, you got a couple guys with that nice melodic flow, the J. Cole flow, the used to be Drake flow.
Hold on, bro, JC. I know I said I was gonna let you, I had the floor, but it just came to me on a lot of them joints, not his subject matter, just his tone. He sounded like Mos Def on some of them.
Yeah. And this is, I listened to it for the 3rd time.
That's that Brooklyn shit.
And it almost was like a throwback AZ. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
it sounds like AZ a little bit to me.
Not like like he has nice lyrics. I don't put his lyrics on AZ level, but it's just so relaxed and so mellow.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I enjoyed the album. Like it's a ride out album. Like I'm
Yeah.
going down to the show, I'm playing it.
Absolutely.
He gonna get a lot. He should get a lot of radio play.
He should.
Not that it's a radio album, but it's like it's not like Drake, where Drake just went too far,
right,
and forgot the essence of rap. This guy is acknowledged, like he's giving back. You got Puffy, you got Nas, you got New School, West Side Gun. Like it's just a well-rounded, very well-rounded album. And this is my first time listening to him.
Okay.
So
most of the time I don't mess with these new cats, but I'm gonna mess with him moving forward. Him, J. Cole. Yeah.
Same question. Oh, you already did it. You did it.
Yeah.
Five,
I mean,
you did a 5 mic joint. All right.
The 5 mics. So I'm giving him 3.5 because the flow is kind of same, so it could be kind of like redundant, kind of like like there's no, in my opinion, there's no high points on the album. It's just straight across, like flatline.
Right. It was steady.
I agree.
Steady.
There's no dips. There's no high points. It's just smooth.
It was very steady.
It's very steady. Very steady.
Go ahead, Exact.
I hate that shit, bro. Word is bought. I like that shit at all.
He lying.
No cap.
He lying.
No cap.
He lying.
No cap. No cap.
Cat. He capping. He capping.
He capping.
Honestly, I only got the breather joint one time, but I got the breather in the headphones, so I got to listen to the whole joint. Everything that y'all said, both of you, like it's a. If I go on any trips, it'll definitely be in rotation. I put it in my albums like with Nas right now, and Kendrick. Everybody ain't feel Kendrick or Nas, but I put that in that category. I like the features that was on it. I like the tone, the tempo. I'm a fan of the young boy anyway. I got him on my Pandora playlist. When he spoke about his boy, I don't know if y'all know, like Brother JC, you just, getting put on to him, but check out America by him. This is the older joint, but check out if you get a chance. Check out America. Spelled with 3 Ks.
Yeah, All American. That was he released that in 2017.
Yeah, you gotta hear that. Like he ripped that. And he got a young boy, like, you know what I'm saying? Not his young boy, it's actually, you want to say his mentor or whatever. But from my understanding, I think his name, he speaks about it, it's like one of the last joints on the album, he speaks about it. In 2012, like they had freestyles out. If you go back and look at Joey Badass freestyles, there's this cat that was with him, Steezo or Steelo, something I might be messing up his name, so pardon. But he was nice. He was nice, like, but
he might have been older than him though, too.
He was old, he was his mentor.
Yeah.
And I think he had like again, don't quote me on this, I think he had a mental breakdown and I think he committed suicide. I think. I don't know if it was anything else, but pardon if I'm incorrect.
But he did pass away, yeah. That did happen, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know the means.
Yeah.
But him getting on that, man, I'm always a fan of just real relatable shit. And I'm gonna pass it to you in a second, Magna Carta. So I want to do a disclaimer. Don't get me wrong, man. I like street shit. It's just that, just like we said, what Brother JC said, how his album you just listen to that thing one by, like, I can only listen to so many artists. Because I listened to Beans, the Truth album, just yesterday. And I don't know, maybe it's favoritism. It's certain people, they so fucking believable in what they saying. And then they take the gloves off in it. So you judge them and deal with them as you do. Some of these motherfuckers just seem like they telling other people's stories. Beans, the Locks. It's some cats that's like, that's spitting that gangster street stuff. Griselda. They live that life. You know what I'm saying? So my just thing is that I can only listen to Bus. I listened to Beans yesterday. I can't listen to Griselda for a couple of days now. You understand what I'm saying? Like so who I am, how I need a Joey Badass in between that to smooth that whole thing out. You know what I'm saying? But you got it, Magna Carta.
Okay. So out of 1 to 10, what you give it, exact?
I'm honestly gonna give it an 8, bro.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because I like the fact that he didn't necessarily have this era of music like what I would hear on the radio, but it seemed like he switched it up. He had a little boom bap in it a little bit, even though, like I said, it was on the same pace, but he had a little bit of boom bap. He took it to a little bit. He gave a good album, and to me, like I
Solid.
haven't listened to the albums. He did a good solid album.
Solid.
So
Production was key too.
I
Yeah.
give him an 8 on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give him an 8 too. I knocked 2 points off. I was close to giving him a 9 or a 10 because I enjoyed it a lot. The only reason why I took a point off because the one thing we talked about, it was too repetitive for me. Like I wanted to see some versatility in there. His bars is a 10. Like he's spitting. His storytelling was great. The production was good. Everything was on point. And then I took another point off because, like you said, nonchalant, it was a little too long. If he would have put a 10 to 12 in there, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
It went to 14, and I still enjoyed those songs too. That's why I still would have gave him a 10. But I was like, but then it was like maybe if you put those other 4 songs at the end, maybe that's when you show your versatility on a different type of speed, tempo, like that what I would have liked to see. But other than that, I'm gonna give it an 8. I enjoyed it. I will listen to it again and again.
That's in my rotation, and that's why I might have to go up to an 8. I might have to give it an 8, yo, for real. You know what I'm saying?
That joint is a solid 8.
I have to get that young man his props. I'm gonna go up to
3.5 rounded up is a 4. 4 and 5 is 80%. So
absolutely,
Yeah.
you know,
I give it a solid 8, and I was
it was
going
a breath
to
of fresh air.
Yes, it was.
Let me comment on
Yeah, and the
something.
last part I want to say is that we was talking about it a few weeks ago when exact asked the question about bold prediction, how you feel the state of hip hop is going to be in 5 years. Now, this is what I was talking about. I feel like bars is going to matter more. I feel like this music is going to come back. That's what I was talking about when I said it. That's my bold prediction. You're going to have to be able to rap in 5 to 6, maybe 7 years. You're going to have to know how to rap again.
For sure.
But it's going to be some gimmicky rappers out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's always been that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this is what I feel like music is going to go back to bars. It's going to go back to bars.
Yeah, I give it an 8. I changed my
and I give it a strong 8 too. Like it's close to 9 to me.
Yeah. I gotta give that man his credit. I give it an 8.
Magna Carta, you just said something to me that's prolific. This is why I gave Conway's album. Well, first I like Benny the Butcher's album. I gotta go back to Griselda for a second because I made a statement before, and I was like, I like Benny's at that time better. What you just said to me was mad prolific, and if it's a hell of a format that if some people could get on board with that as artists, they can really make a difference. You make if you say 10, shrink it from 15 to 10. Now, you got your first in the background. You got your first 5 joints. It's all like your influence, how your vibe, maybe what you got known for. And then your next 5, you switch it up. You whether it hit or miss, but you just give something like you said, because what you just said, man, that was perfect. Like that's like, if you gonna go 15, if you gonna go 15, the first 10, you do what you do, but you got to give them something different for the last 4 to 5 joints. And in my opinion, I think if you want to go to a 10 space, 5 of them joints should be heavily your vibe, and then if you gotta step out of your realm, you ain't gotta do nobody else's style. But I think that's you said something that man bridged it, created a bridge from where you like maybe me and Ashalam was super on maybe the old school shit. I think it's the formatting, and you touched on that, Paul. You touched on the formatting. If you get a good format to your album, you can make a good album with the talent that's there. It's just, again, don't want to hear 5 joints and you bang, 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 shoot them up. That's why I edged Conway over Benny, because Benny seemed like, and I like Benny's tracks. Like I was in there, I'm rocking. I just think Conway switched that shit up, and his last couple joints, he took it to more of an internal thing. And for me, I used to be, honestly, can say this. A lot of cat, like, if you wasn't like, when I say streets from what I'm saying, my area, it wasn't that keep talking that gangster shit, but you different. You flipping, you bouncing, you on your track, your bars is straight. That's what, when I started hearing, like, I don't want to say nobody else, but era came in. When certain cats came, I became what motherfuckers would call a hater, but I'm gonna stick to my common sense line. If I don't like it, I don't like it. That don't mean that I'm hating.
True story.
It means that, like,
Got your own mind.
I got to use one.
It ain't just style. It's not just style.
I wasn't a big fan of the Cameron Mace era. Don't get me wrong. Cameron is a marketing fucking genius, bro. He has said some things that's catchy. I just wasn't ever crazy about him as an MC. But when Mace came out and he followed Biggie, told you Biggie, he did what he had. He did his numbers. He did everything. He was big numbers to fill. But I was just like,
I think
Left you with an empty feeling.
Let me piggyback off what you're saying, Exact Truth. In my opinion, I think Cameron, the tracks over was better than his lyrics, and I think Mace's lyrics was better than his production. I mean,
that might be the statement then, because a lot of even people that I respect, big up Nonchalance's brother-in-law, big up Rab. He used to be a big Mace fan. He said, "No, man, you got to give him a listen." He's not I'm not shitting on him saying he's not a nice MC, but maybe that's, you summed it up. Maybe it was like, everything I heard Mace on seemed like it was commercial. But I remember the mixtapes when it was Mace Murder and Killer Camp.
Yep.
I do remember that. So when I say what I'm saying, it's like, it's not to belittle somebody. I just wasn't a fan of what the machine put out behind it.
And it's a conflict of interest, because you got Puffy, who knows how to make money, and he knows that, we got to have commercial. So he's going to take away from your artistry. He took away from the locks. Come on now.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He took away from the locks' greatness by trying to make them what he envisioned where hip hop was going. But these are spitters. Like, so if we're gonna go ahead, because I know you got something to say, Nonchalant. I can wait.
No. I was just commenting on Magna Carta had other business to attend to, so
okay,
he bounced out. But go ahead.
So yeah, and salute the horsemen. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, so when you think about Puffy, he's thinking about how I can make more money. I made Biggie this way when they was just stealing tracks and Biggie was just rapping over tracks. It wasn't really, there was some creative tracks that he made that wasn't samples, but even on those tracks, he sampled somebody's voice, or, like Puffy, to be known as a producer when he was a lazy producer.
And was he really the producer per se?
Let me say this. Let me clarify something. And this is a rough course in the music industry. This is the situation. The difference between a Premier, a Puffy, and a Quincy Jones, if I can break this down real quick. Premier will put a whole fucking track together. The concept that you came up with, he would create the music, the hook, everything around that. Puffy never touched a drum machine. Puffy put money behind the machine. So the concept, Puffy could have said, you seen it, he gave you an example of that. And
what was that production team called?
Whose team?
Bad Boy had a production team.
They didn't give them a title. They were just Bad Boys
Nah,
Production.
they did. They did. I can't remember the name of it though.
Bro, it was a whole bunch. You got my man who did all beats.
You had number one. You got D Dot.
D Dot, Easy Mo B.
You had the dude that was on. He do the Atlanta hip hop Atlanta now.
I mean, bro, he had a team of 20 motherfuckers. He flew these. I don't want to go into all of the details about that. My statement is, Puffy didn't make the beats. He let the beat makers make it. It's a difference. I used to say I was a producer. I'm a beat maker. I make beats. Unless I formulate the whole song together and build the hook and chorus around it, either myself or it's my idea, then I'm not a producer. Now I'm gonna go to Quincy Jones real quick. Quincy Jones was also a musician. So Quincy Jones could draw up and write music and write the tunes and everything. He just in turn put people to work and put all of those sounds that you hear that made him a legend off of his productions. It made him who he was. So
it was the Hitmen. They were called the Hitmen.
The Hitmen, okay.
I knew they had a name.
Okay, I didn't know personally, but my bad. It's like what he did was he put his name on it. Remember when he got on the tracks and he'd be like, take that, or whatever, because he was the overseer of the track. Puffy can say, I have an idea, and I'm gonna give it to this person. Or Puffy can get all of these beats submitted to him, and he'll be like, yo, I hear Mace on this. And Mace is gonna do a hook to go, like it's gonna be along the lines of bad boy. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like a movie. It's like a movie. Sorry to cut you. Like you have an executive producer. A producer, all the producer is pretty much is the one who has the final word. Like you could have a director of the movie, and he might not be the producer. And this is where the clashing comes in, because you might have directed the movie, but the producer has the last word. That's why you will always see like Eazy-E. He was the executive producer on most of their projects. Now, did he produce stuff, or did he, let's say, concoct certain things? No. But what he did was he brought it into fruition to whereas this is what I'm producing. Dr. Dre is the Dr. Dre, yeah, Dr. Dre is the producer, or whatever, however you want to go. You can say beat maker, producer, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm the executive producer. So I'm making the final decision. And a lot, like even with on Puffy's projects, even though he had the Hitman, he had all of them producers that actually made the shit that the people was rapping over. He had the final say so on what was coming out, and that's what the executive producer does.
Okay.
Even the movie, even the movie.
The executive producer also is the funder. He don't have to touch the project. He don't got to do nothing. He puts the money into it.
But that's what I'm saying. When you have the final say, that wraps all that up in a bow. That means you're the money and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't make no moves if you ain't put no money into this.
That's right.
And that's what the executive producer is. He's the money man for the most part. And he has, like I said, he has the final say. And usually the person with the money has the final say. This is real bar talk.
Real bar talk.
DaHoarsemen.
DaHoarsemen. I wanted to get a little plug in. I don't know if you see the shirt, but this is I'm gonna try to get as close as I can without it being blurred.
I'm feeling it. I need that.
Thank you. This is He Style Clothing. This is my brother-in-law's clothing line. If you wanna get some fly shit, go to shophestyle.com. Look them up.
Send me the link.
Will do.
Based out of Newark?
It's pretty much online, but he's definitely Brick City up and down.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. Born, raised, all that. Heart and soul, right. Brick City. Brick City Brigade, baby.
Shout out received.
What we got? We got Kanye Matter left.
Oh
Kanye?
yeah,
Kanye.
yeah.
I mean, we got.
He was
What
on the
is-
Joe. That was Joe Osteen, right?
I'm not. I didn't see. All I did was read what was posted, and I know how Kanye do, so I wasn't surprised. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying the brother on in my opinion, the brother on a mission to get his soul back. And I
Can you
don't
do
mean,
that?
Mm,
Can you
mean
do that?
I like that.
this is what I learned about God, bro. God is the ultimate judge of all. Like, I ain't preaching none of this stuff. I ain't getting into none of that. But in the Bible, the New Testament was written by Saul or Paul, according to my knowledge about stuff. A majority of the books. And he wasn't the greatest person to ever walk the earth. Like, you know what I mean? He lived a so-called treacherous life.
Who's
I
that?
don't know if he ever denounced God. I can't speak on those things because I'll be, you know what I mean, speaking out of turn. But from my understanding, I mean, that final determination is the God. The devil's supposed to have tested Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of his suffering, and asked him, excuse me, look at your people. Let me show you how the future gonna be. And look at what our future is right now. And I don't know if, you know, I don't want to be religious and like I said, I don't want to be preachy, but Jesus didn't turn and say, yo man, come get me, help me get up off this. He cried out to God, not to what is everything else. We got too many people that's running around right now crying out to the other. So this is what we in, man.
I guess that's my question is, if you could take an oath with Satan, right? Like I said, ain't none of us perfect. I ain't saying none of that shit. It's just a question that I'm asking. And you could do all of that and do all these so-called, I'm not claiming to be perfect, none of that shit. I'm just asking a question. Like unholy things, so on and so forth. And then you could say, okay, I'm done with it. I want to go back to God. What?
Nah,
I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a question. Like once you do that and you start to do like things that are not of whatever. Like I said, I'm not saying if I'm making any sense. And now you do all this stuff who you sided with. You brought all this down on people, so on and so forth. You got people going this way. And now, okay, let me pump my brakes. I want to take my signature off of Satan's oath. Like are you saying that's not written in ink? That's written in pencil. You can erase that and then reverse that and say, you know what? I want to go, you know what I'm saying? Like back to whatever. Because if so, then how does that have anyone going the so-called righteous way? Because you can always say, you know what? I'm gonna do all this fucked up shit. Not have no accountability, none. But I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna go back to God. You know what I'm saying? That's to me, that's an easy way. That's easy.
this is where, like, we've talked about this on different occasions. This not toward you, brother National or nothing. I just want to elaborate on the statement. Not running around here doing Christian doctrine, nothing. From my understanding of the
No, I ain't
Bible.
even talking Christian doctrine.
But that's not you. I just saying, I just want to say I want to clarify because there's no conflict with whatsoever. I just want to clarify something from my understanding about the situation. It's stated that God can save you from the stirrup to the ground, meaning that if you ever seen somebody that's on a horse, you see the distance between the stirrup, the bottom of the stirrup and the ground, God can save you. Now, God has never been anyone's fool. And the worst thing that you could ever do is to play with God and think that, oh, I'm gonna act the fool. I want to run around this motherfucker and kill people and do all this crazy shit and be a fucking heathen. And just before I die, I'm gonna ask God for forgiveness. That's not how shit works, bro.
And that's my question. That's my question.
This is the way that the world, this is the way that the world wants you to do. God says repentance. You can lay down in your bed every night and repent for everything that you did, but repentance means that you don't go back to it. So if a person is on a deathbed and they the worst person in the world, again, I don't remember if this was a pastor telling me this, and this goes fly by night because a pastor's a pastor. He's a man just like me. But I was told that somebody as wicked as Hitler could have a home in heaven if he submitted to the one true God and honestly believed it. That's what I was told, bro. I'm not saying it's true.
I know all of that. I'm just saying, how does that make anybody? So how can you teach somebody, yo, this is the right way to go?
It's in your heart. It's in your spirit. The more it's about morals. It's about your morals and your morality. If you, like I said, man,
I know a lot of people that's moral and they can justify their bullshit.
Who's the best? Who's some of the true best pastors? I'm not saying to me, the motherfuckers that was really who was in the streets. Sound crazy.
No, it don't. I think that's not the question I'm asking. That's not the question I'm asking. I think the question I'm asking is why, like, if you can do all this other shit, right, and still be saved, right? Mm-hmm. None of us are perfect. Then how can you tell somebody with a straight face, yo, that's not the way to go? Because I'm gonna ask. This is the question I came up. It's like I said, I'm learning. I want to learn. It was, was at work one day, whatever, and somebody said, I'm sure you've seen the stickers, the bumper stickers on people's cars, and it said, Christians aren't perfect, they're just forgiven. So it's kind of like the same question I'm asking now. Okay, you're not you, but the question I asked this person that was claimed to be Christian, I said, being that you're a Christian and claim to be one, but you're not perfect, nobody is. But because you claim to be Christian, you're the only one that's going to be forgiven.
This is, me and you had this dialogue before. Where I'm going with it is from this. Christians, that's why I said I don't.
Because all of us fall short. What I'm saying is that's different than somebody taking a so-called. Well, we all sign oaths and shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't even know what the fuck we signing. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? We just know we gotta go get paper, we gotta go get jobs, we gotta provide. So, but we don't know what the fuck we signing when we sign it. They telling us, you know what I'm saying? No, you gotta sign this, you know what I'm saying, to get what it is you feel as though you need. But it's just a question, because how can you, after that, like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, I could go all the way over here, do all this shit. But all I gotta do is change at the blink of an eye, and all that shit I did is forgiven. You know what I mean? Because I believe.
Let me say
my question is this: how can we sit up here, for the most part, and be against people that we perceive as doing the wrong thing?
Man,
because all you gotta do, after you do all that fucked up shit, all you gotta do is believe you're gonna be forgiven for it. But this person over here, he ain't got a scratch on him, or he got, like, you got 1,000,000 scratches, he got 10. But
that's like confession with the Catholic Church.
Exactly.
Just go to confession and you
relieved all that. So what are we here for then?
So listen, let me say something. And both of you brothers are 100% on point and correct. That's man forgiving man. It's not man asserting himself to God. Brother Narsanan.
But what does that mean, though?
What I'm saying is that because we dwell more in the spirit. I always ask a lot of Christians this: did Christ come in and worship himself, or did he come in the spirit that was in the? Was he the spirit that was in the flesh? So when I say I'm spiritual, I believe in spiritual things, which lines myself up to being moral. Doesn't mean I have heaven as my home or nothing. That doesn't mean nothing. What I'm saying is, even what we started the dialogue with doesn't mean that heaven is actually a person's home. What it says and what certain things are stated is that having a true relation. Jesus didn't so-called quote unquote come to talk to brothers who were moral. He came to talk to those who were immoral. He hung out with those that were immoral.
Absolutely.
So when people say, just like what you're saying, to be able to be
hold that thought, please. Hold that thought, please. Hold that, please.
Right. Brother JC, what's good with the season, man? How your squad looking?
We looking great, man. I'm just enjoying everything, and we got 4 weeks left for the first game. You guys will be getting updates.
We should see. I don't know what my schedule gonna be like over the next 4 weeks, but if you put the schedule in there, man, we can come in there and do a broadcast live at your game.
Well, we know we're gonna do one. We're trying to do the Corey Holcomb on the 13th. I ain't buy a ticket. I might just ride out there on the 13th. And we just go to the I forget where it's at. And then we got the Nas one. We're gonna go live there.
I mean,
that'll be great.
I've been asked about going more live, like doing more live joints. And
really?
Like what I put on the list, man, you just gotta generate, man. We got something good here, man. We just gotta generate more views.
Yeah.
I just want to I'm gonna put a bow on this, but I'm just saying, out of all of that, how because we're not in the spirit form, we're in the flesh. So how do we determine what you just said?
Right.
And well, not how do we determine, who determines that? Who determines that?
I believe, listen, this is what I believe in my personal belief. I believe in the spirit. I don't believe that God is a he or she. God is a form. God is an entity. So my thoughts will never be his thoughts. So when we ask questions, it's not for just you. The questions that's asked is only for him because he knows us. Nas had an album called It Was Written. Basically, we are living out something that was already written. God knew us from the womb. God knew us from a sperm.
How do you determine that though?
We're not, a lot of times.
Because I've heard that before, is our destiny is predetermined. But how do you determine that? You know what I mean?
Because you are a person that to me, in my opinion, this is just, I'm not God.
Right.
Your lifestyle.
So what I'm saying is that just sound like fly words. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, God already had the script out. All right, okay, I get it. But how do you explain that? And nobody has been able to explain that.
Nope. Who can explain God? That's how a lot of times I look. Who can all I know is that the Bible, a lot of times I've had the Quran in my possession, but never read, like, whereas though I had an understanding of it. So I can't speak on it. But from my understanding of the Bible, they're like lectures. They're like Dr. Sabi. They're like what's the name, Coakley. They're like all of these people and they're just giving you gems. There are gems in it, in the midst, and how it can fit accordingly to how we live. I don't read the Bible every day. I don't bow down to the Bible every day. This is just things that I learned. So I don't have those exact answers. But I do believe this is that God has the power over all. And when we say that God has the power over all, our thoughts, even to say, this wicked motherfucker did all of this fucked up shit and don't deserve to be what's name. It's not for me to judge. It's for God. Because when I come in front of him and he bring up some shit that I thought that I was living honestly, but I was being selfish in a motherfucker and living a certain kind of way, I got to deal with me. I think that our individuality thought that we have is not for the here, it's for the after.
I understand that, but I'm just saying the only reason. Go ahead. The only reason I asked that because it was said that I don't know none of these people. You know what I'm saying? As far as Kanye personally, I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what he's been through. You know what I'm saying? But that was thrown out there, and that's why I've always had that question when people be like, "Oh, he sold his soul," and I've heard before, "Oh, well, you can buy it back." And you know what I mean? I've heard it like it's kind of like the same thing you just said. It's just like I said, it's all language. It's all language. And you know, you get I think we get caught up in language. I'm just saying, like, okay, I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is, how can you tell somebody? I mean, I know how you can tell somebody. I'm just saying, how does that make people who are doing the so-called righteous thing? I ain't say the perfect thing because nobody's perfect. I'm just saying the righteous thing that makes them kind of look like a fool.
Bro,
I'm just saying I'm not here to justify nothing. I'm just saying what gives that's the word I was looking for. What gives the person the incentive? There you go. The incentive to go the route of the righteous. If you're telling me that these wicked individuals can do wicked stuff all their life, but can just at the flip of a hat, you know what? Now I want to be righteous. What does that say about the person that's been doing that all their life? Like, who are they?
Let me say this. This is third party co-signing because I wasn't there. I don't know this. But from my understanding of this is God created the devil, bro. So when the devil got jealous of everything because he loved us, and the devil got jealous and he put jealousy in, he says, God, let me have my reign with them. And God said, but under my judgment, under what he felt like was just. So God can use tyrants for his purpose. God is just and unjust, bro. God can let a tyrant run free for a long period of time and kill all these do the worst, most treacherous things, but it was for his purpose. We don't have that inner in us. We know that we want to align with what was good and what is godly, not righteousness. We want to be right. We want to be what's godly. We know because he gave us the discernment. See, the whole story, whether anybody believes that Adam and Eve and all of that whole thing, it's up to whoever. It was based upon a decision. Because if you listen to what was said is that they ate from the tree of knowledge and God told them don't. So why does God give kids and those who are not knowing, who we've given all kinds of ridiculous titles of retards and all this other stuff? Pause my statement. I mean no harm from that, but I'm just trying to make a point with this. People that we've said that has no knowledge, that people that we say were mentally dumb, mentally challenged, all this other stuff. We just talked about Joey Badass. He touched on this. He sheds mercy upon them. But all those who run around here and have a decision, I guarantee you, every tyrant, every motherfucker that ran around here that had a righteous person and tried to say something, well, not a righteous, a person that was moral, say something to him. If you ignore them, that's between you now and God. The harm that you do upon the earth is only used for God because he's going to steer people to say, yo, that motherfucker didn't listen.
But that's my point. Like, what gives somebody the incentive to listen to somebody that should be listened to? If the person that's okay, like I said, it's all in the language. You said it's not righteous, you said it's godly. All right, let's say godly then. Okay, the godly person. However you want to, whatever language you want to use. I'm just saying, what gives a person the incentive to say, you know what, I should be following that and not that.
Again,
If I follow all this wicked shit, I'm still gonna be all right if I just do these things because this godly or what's the word I'm looking for? The word I just used. This godly stuff. It don't look. You know what I'm saying? It don't look all that fun. So I'm gonna be over here doing this because I know at the end of the day, God gonna forgive me anyway. So let me do this over here, and then I'll get back to that when I can. What gives the incentive to like I said, we're older. I'm just saying to a younger person, what gives the incentives to him to say to choose one over the other? If they're looking at these people making all this money, doing all this dirt, doing all this stuff over here, well, at the end of the day, they gonna be forgiven. But these people over here, they broke down, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they doing, but they looking bad. But they righteous and godly. I know I can get back to that, but I want to get this first because I'm dealing in real time. I'm not dealing with what happens down the line or none of that. Everybody deals in real time. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying we could come up, and I don't think I've gotten the answer. Maybe I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, we come up with fly things to say, like God made the devil. Okay, so if God made the devil and you can choose the devil, but come out of that and be back with God, how does that, what gives the person, I'm going to say it one more time, what gives the person the incentive to not do that? That's all I'm saying.
listen.
And like I said, we come up, like I said, we're gonna ring around the rosy on this one.
No, we'll go too much further with it. What always happens when us being statesmen, because I want to say elderly statesmen, us being statesmen, and we just try to instill some knowledge in the youth. It could be the simplest thing. You could see a young boy doing this. What I wanted to show you is, look, I'm preaching all this shit and look at what I'm doing.
I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about.
No. This wasn't a
That's way different than what I'm talking about.
It's not what you're saying. It's not what you're saying. My thing is that certain individuals choose to look at a person for what they do.
But when I'm gonna ask you a question, you just show me what you do. Who's to say that's bad?
Again, that's what was my purpose.
Who's to say that's bad?
We started this off and I said, I don't always like the messenger, but I can't get confused about the message. If you see the young boy right now, and you see him doing something, I don't want to go into no specifics. If you just seen, you have sons, so this is outside of your son, outside of your family. Just you being the moral brother that you are. I got to comment on one thing. We right now ain't living in time. Brother JC gonna tell us it's 8 o'clock. That's time. We're right now living in space.
Like I said, we could say a lot of fly things. I need to break it down to me like I'm 2.
Okay, all right.
Because the thing is,
listen. If you're going to break it down to someone that's like 2, damn, that threw me back. I'm gonna say like this.
I'm gonna say this before I forget it, and I think this is what I was trying to say is, if there's no consequence for doing wicked shit, then what are we talking about?
My question back is, what is the purpose of us changing?
I'm saying what you're saying. What's the purpose of us changing if there's no consequences for things that we do that's considered wrong?
So that's what Raekwon was saying about what do you believe in, heaven or hell?
Right. But I'm saying, make that plain for me. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm hearing is, what I keep hearing is, you can be a wicked motherfucker, but just at some point
but you can repent.
You can repent, and there's going to be no consequences for that.
But God judges your heart, so He's going to see if your good deeds outweigh your bad, and all this is cliche. It's all
Right.
cliche.
Okay. Thank you.
It's
That's
all
what I'm
cliche.
saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
This is what I can share. Again, me personally, like me speaking from a personal experiences, and some people can chalk that to coincidence. I feel like my alignment with the Creator kept me safe when I wasn't living safe. Like I did a bunch of shit, man. Like I ain't no drug or none of that shit. I tried to sell drugs. I mean, I robbed niggas. You know what I'm saying? I
Is
fucking
it safe to say?
no.
Go ahead.
It's not selling the story. It's not selling anything. I personally feel like while I'm in this for, and while I'm a part of all of these things, I don't give myself credit for it. I give it for the people that I came across, I passed in my life. They kept telling me, yo, you know what? You out here nutting the fuck up and you doing nutball shit. You have a greater purpose in your life. And I listen. So the motherfuckers just don't want to listen and realize that there is, as the Christians say, salvation at the end of the road when you want to keep doing what you do. And then maybe you fucking wheelchair bound, your liver all fucked up because you done got shot the fuck up. Now you want to get past the word. That's why I said, if you listen to what I said, the motherfuckers that's in the streets lose their fucking homie, go to jail, live through hard times. Now you want to confess and say, let me talk to these other motherfuckers. So if I got a young person, what I'm going to do is like, look, I'm not preachy teachy with you, but yo, if you need an ear, I'm here for you. That's all I can do. That's all the that's all the spiritual being that we are is supposed to do. The other people are going to be like, look, scripture say this, scripture say that, scripture say this. You can know everything else. The devil know the back and forth of the Bible, bro.
I know that.
So my thing is, us who believe and love our youth, I asked Brother JC when you was away, like, how's this squad doing, everything else like that. When you hands-on with the youth, we can't save everybody. It's about we save. It's about the ones that we see that's like, yo, man, I roll by such and such. I see you hanging out in the corner, man. What's up? What's going on with you? You need some money? I ain't got no money for you, but I can put you on to something so you ain't got to be out there endangering your life. If that motherfucker walk away from you and be like, nigga, I mean, bro, you did your job. So anybody else that's sitting over there telling you that you can do all fucked up shit and salvation's at the end of the road, that's going to give somebody some hope and turn their life around. I ain't saying I agree with it. You just do what you do. My thing is, why not? Like, I can't show you a bench. My wrist ain't blinging. My neck ain't. I don't wear that. I don't believe in that tight shit around my neck anyway. But I ain't got too much to show you. But I can show you genuine love. And if you reject that and you get that shit to me like that, and all I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not trying to tell you from no salvation. I'm trying to tell you, do you want to live past tomorrow? Do you want to live the next 10 years of your life? You need to stop doing what the fuck you doing. That's what I take from all that shit. I don't take it from like, yo, fuck around and just do sinister shit and then whatever. Bro, the minute that you talk, that you're gonna get ready to be like, not you, Paul, whoever listening to this within ears range to think that, yo, I got time to be saved. If you don't start from when you hear that advice, then go ahead and gamble. Because I guarantee most of the motherfuckers that think that they're gonna be able to like have that last second to say, oh God, I believe. Again, I say God know your heart. We all rock with each other because we know each other's heart. And I dropped the mic on that. And it's like I said, Nashalan, it's not true. You brought a very valid point up because there's so many motherfuckers that's running around here. It's not about me presenting a book to you. Motherfucker, I don't know you, but I love you.
Yeah.
Genuinely. So that's what it really is. It's not about
that. I mean, I guess, like I said, it's kind of beyond explanation. You know what I'm saying?
Love thy neighbor.
It's kind of beyond because we keep going, and being kind of cliche-ish with it. And I understand exactly what you're saying, but the only reason I brought it up, I understand and I know exactly what you're saying. and I'm with that. But I'm just my question was what would give the incentive? Because I've heard, oh, well, once you sell your soul, that's it. You know what I mean? But then I started hearing, well, you can come back from that. And I was like, whoa, okay. You know what I mean? I was just asking, well, what would give the, because what would give the incentive
You're right.
to do right? That's all I'm saying. What would give the incentive? That's
I
all.
got a question. One a powerful question. I mean, powerful question. Well, I have an answer, I think, to what was once a powerful question. Let me correct myself. Ask whoever. Let me ask whoever is within ear range. Do you want to live? If you want to live and you know you're living fucked up, I ain't saying hit your knees, I ain't saying do all this stuff. I would say, hey, do that if that's going to heal you. Turn your life around.
But
That,
what you also said was there's a script to this anyway. It's already predetermined. So how does that work?
when you hear it, and if it affects you and you do not the right thing, but if you do something different, you say this. This is what you did. This is one of the things that you say. And this is how all of this ties together. I'm gonna fuck it up, but the definition of idiocy or insanity is doing the same thing and thinking
Expect
it's
different results. Yeah.
a different result. So if within the rear ears range, if you're still doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's to me what just like what you asked. It's a presentation. It's not criticizing nobody. I ain't criticizing if you can pull $20,000, $30,000 out your pocket. Man, you're endangering your family's life. If you don't give a fuck about yours, do you give a fuck about your family's life?
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying right now. I'm just saying, what's the incentive? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying this for me because I already know. I'm not talking about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about me at all. This conversation is not for me. I'm saying it to people who are whoever, young, old, what have you. You know what I'm saying? That on one hand, oh, your destiny is predetermined. But on the other hand, keep doing that and see how long. Well, if my destiny is predetermined, it's not gonna matter what I do anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying how people think. I'm not saying that's how I think. I'm just saying this is how, you know what I mean? And so it keeps going like this. Yeah, here you go. Here you go. You know what I mean? And so that's just all, man. No disrespect to nobody.
Your destiny is your physical form.
That's
that's when God calls you home. But before you go home, he determines where are you on the plus side or the minus side, and that determines your where you you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I believe it, but I understand it.
Right. I like I said, the conversation wasn't for me because, like I said, we all have been brought up a certain way, to whereas we have obtained enough know-how, whether that's knowledge or what have you, and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We have obtained that throughout the years. So I'm not asking the question for us. I'm just asking for the question for those who might be asking the question. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's no disrespect to nobody intended.
For the people that's gonna be tuned in on August 13th in Philly at the Corey Holcomb show, we ask for those people.
No disrespect to nobody's denomination. No disrespect to nobody personally. None of that. I wasn't trying. That's not why I was asking the question. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get some have someone throw out the understanding of what I was talking about. Not necessarily an answer, but just an understanding. And I think we basically covered that. You know what I'm saying? I think we basically covered that.
I agree. I believe in the understanding of it. I just think that I feel like the things that I've learned recently, and I'm unable to share everything, but there's so much value in us.
And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of us have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, but we have no understanding.
And we don't have trust.
That means you have no understanding.
Yeah, we can recite scripture,
Yeah.
but we can't interpret what the scripture is saying. We can't discern what the scripture is saying. So we just want to repeat it and be good with it. Like if you say that to a novice or a shallow person, all right, they're gonna repeat it back. But what is he saying?
What is he saying?
Yeah.
That part.
Exact Truth touched on it a few times tonight. He said, you said about the stirrups. You gave a measurement from the stirrups
To the ground.
and the ground. And I said, that reminds me of the book of Job when God let the devil tempt Job. And
Job,
the devil tried to tell him to jump off the cliff, and Job was like, my God don't allow that. So that's what I thought about. So you could, all this stuff is relatable, but you know, I'm more spiritual than I am religious. And I think you gotta connect the two.
I have no religious denomination. You know
right. Yeah. Me neither.
I've been raised up, but I will say this. I was raised up from Christian teachings, but
we was all raised in Rome, bro.
Yep.
Yo.
Yep. Yeah. We gotta make it back home. We was all raised in Rome. We gotta make it back home.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. Like I said, love y'all, man. Like I said, I'm not in any way.
Horseman salute.
You know how we do. My thing is just like what you said, because we are broadcasting this. I just feel like, man, what I learned, man, again, I said this earlier. I used to be just a hater. But you, Brother Naslan, put me onto this. Once I looked at that Tupac documentary, one thing I learned is that that man loved his people. He loved his people. And there was a message in him. But the receivers, a lot of receivers of his message saw thug life. They didn't even know what thug life meant. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it goes back to something I said before. Many are called, but few are chosen, man. I'd rather, in my life, before I transition, save one soul and worry about a whole masses of people that ain't even fucking giving a fuck about themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? That's like, that's why I said what you say is not what you against you. It's not, it was like to the point, like, yo, man, even if you grew up in a house and you didn't see nothing, you had motherfuckers take advantage of you, do a bunch of shit to you. Yo, man, somebody in this motherfucker, they really give a fuck about you. They can't do everything for you. They can't fill every fucking slot, every fucking void. But it's a motherfucker that's out here that love you and give a fuck about you. So if you can hang on to that love and generate that love, God is the thought of love to me. It's not like I said, I don't look at a physical being. They say God created us in the image of himself. That means that God created us in the image of love. That's what it means. It don't mean that it was a man sitting over there on some big ass fucking throne that's the image is given. Bruh, God is energy, man. We always talk about changing the frequency. I only push changing the frequency towards God. Stop thinking death. Stop looking forward to your last day instead of looking for your next future day that can help the next motherfucker. Your story can help the next motherfucker. That's all I can look like. That's what my ultimate point was. It's not about the religious shit. That's what I learned. That's what I was channeled to. I done been through Christianity, Dr. York. Like I said, I was considering being a Muslim. I'm gonna keep that shit real because I was like, at that time, they was like, yo, if you go to jail and you Muslim, motherfuckers won't rape you and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm telling you some real shit. Like, but in the midst of this, I gained knowledge. I gained a bunch of knowledge from this. Now in my older age, it's just transforming into wisdom. So my wisdom is, and for me to keep my wisdom to myself,
No, you can't do that.
it's disheartening to God.
Each one teach one.
In my image of God, it's disheartening. So that's what I said, man. It's not about heaven. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna say this to everybody before I close out. My grandmother died with a smile on her face.
Alhamdulillah.
You know how when you die, you know your everything releases, like your mouth might open, your eyes, everything. My grandmother, even though they put a little thing on there to keep her, her mouth shut, she was smiling. When they put her in the thing, she was smiling. My grandmother suffered so much. Because of love. So all that Christianity shit, it's about love.
Absolutely.
Sometimes death is life. Sometimes death is life.
When you suffer,
go ahead, brother.
When you suffer for your family, like my pop shared something with me. Real quick, my bad. It was a big stir up about certain things. My mom and pop separated when I was young. I was like 3 or 4 years old. My pop lived in California. My mom was over here. My pop told me that my grandmother said, please don't take my baby from me. So from 1972 to 1997, my grandmother hung on for her family. My grandmother had terminal cancer back in 1972 and she knew she was dying. But her love kept her alive through this whole fucking shit, bro. So when that's from the starts to the West End, I don't look at it like from that. Come on, man, y'all know we don't live like that. I look at it from, hey, you want to live? You gotta find a purpose. I got one more thing to say. If I find a picture, I'm gonna post this shit. It's floating around. My mother got diagnosed with breast cancer. My nephew was born shortly after she started doing chemotherapy. My mom lost everything. Y'all see all these pictures about these millennium babies and all this other stuff. There's a picture of my nephew. I don't think he was 6 months old. And he was grabbing my mom's head, like grabbing my mom's face and kissing her head. My mom held. She stayed
Praise
longer.
It
was destined for her to transform and go further a little bit more time. She bought time. That's all it was. It was destined. So my thing is those terminologies, because at the same time, God don't live in, that's why I said space. Our creator don't live in a 24-second hour. We know they change time. We know they change everything. So that's what, like you said, when you can give somebody some real shit and just tell them, yo.
Well, that story right there is hard to piggyback on. But I want to go back to the statement I made about sometimes death is life. When you have a cousin that you grew up with, and he's like your brother, y'all born like a couple months apart, and he has a sibling, and you have a sibling, they born the same year. So I lost my cousin. He was young, like before he was 30. And his brother was like, don't feel sorry for him. Don't be sad for him because we got to stay here. And I was like, how could you say that about your own brother? But now I understand what he was saying. We are here to suffer. We are here to suffer.
I think that's perception as well.
I mean, I agree, but going through it, when I see my mom, I never wanted to see her go. But when you see the strongest person in your life give up, I ain't say quit, but when I say give up, to me, is quitting is two things. It just becomes too overbearing that you just be like, quitting is like running to me. You know what I mean? But giving up, like, yo, to save others, you got me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like I said, like, we are those right now. I spoke about my grandmother, I spoke about my mom's. We the ancestors now, bro.
We in the upper room.
Exactly. And
the upper room.
We most we most definitely the old heads now.
No doubt. And National is the best.
We're the elders now.
We're the elders. And then when you said what you said, bro, my thing is my only answer is love, man. Because I don't have no, I can't tell you, I don't got, like I said, you got $30,000 in your pocket and whatever back at the stash house. I ain't gonna tell you, I don't even know you. I love you, bro. That's
I mean,
all.
yeah. I mean, when I was saying that, of course, there's a lot of false pretenses of love. You know what I'm saying? Which is money, which is getting some, you know, thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Having all types of cars and all that. You know what I'm saying? All that shit is temporary. All that shit is temporary. You know what I'm saying? It's like a quick fix to cover up whatever you're going through. But I was just throwing it out there because it's a lot of lost people. I'm not claiming to know everything. I'm just saying it's a lot of people looking for answers. You know what I mean? And a lot has been thrown at them in the I think you summed it up when you said love, because we could sit here and quote scriptures and things of that nature, and people will have no understanding of what we're talking about. But when you say love, yeah, that's a 4-letter word. But when you express that, that's when it touches people. You know what I mean? Because you could say it, love, I love you, yeah. But when you express it after you say it, that's when it hits you. You know what I'm saying? That's when you feel that shit. And like I said, it's nothing like when you press your remote control to your TV, it's waves going out. We can't see it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we can't necessarily, we can see how love is expressed, but we really can't see it being manifested, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? When we express it, we can, oh, this is what love is when you showing somebody. But it's not like when you show love, a heart comes out of your chest. Oh, this is love, and it goes into the other person. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, this is real bar talk.
No doubt.
Horsemen, baby.
4 horsemen. We can it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Brother JC signing off for dinner.
You must smell the aroma, brother. The aroma. Look at this.
Absolutely.
I ain't mad at you.
Next week we'll be talking about MLB trade deadline, and I think we got a preseason game, the Hall of Fame game coming up, right?
Sunday or Saturday, one of them, I think.
Peace.
Shit. Nowadays it might be on Thursday.
Peace, brothers. I'm out.
Peace and love. One.
Exactly.
Real bar talk. The Horsemen, nonchalant. Signing off.